Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. We have back with us our E39 wagon that we've worked on a few times. This is a slick top manual wagon. It's a pretty rare car. Today we're going to be doing an EONON. I like saying EONON, but there's an O, so it doesn't really matter. It's a fantastic system. We have used these in the past. If you remember way back when we did the E46, the S54 wagon, the M3 wagon, it had one of these systems in it. Now, this came from the M3 that we sourced all the parts from, and at the time it was probably about 4 or 5 years old, but it was so responsive still and still felt new enough that we actually ended up moving it over to the wagon, plug and play, and we'll go over that in just a moment. Before we get into today's video, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like if you enjoy this type of content. Also make sure to check us out on Instagram, Tenza_Motorsports. We're giving away E46 M3 steering wheels. We've got 2 of them. Stay tuned for that, and make sure to be following us on Instagram, Tenza_Motorsports, for any further giveaways. And I'm sorry if I'm a little echoey. I forgot my mic, and that's why I'm sitting so close. You know, normally I'm back by the car. But not only are we doing a head unit, we're also going to be doing a backup camera, all from the same company. So let's get this unboxed. This is going to be up to date with all of the modern head units in most cars, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised to see how this looks even in a car like this. You get some of these older cars and you put LEDs and newer style headlights and taillights and things like that, and it doesn't quite match. And you can do that with head units as well. You get this really classic nice looking dash and you slap a giant tablet in the middle of it. It looks weird. This right here looks very OEM. So let's get this popped open. We'll talk about it a little bit more in just a moment. And yes, very excited to get this done. So just went through all the wiring. It looks like we've got, I believe this is our satellite antenna here, and you just want to mount this. If you're going to use it, I think I'll have this set up on this car. You'll just plug it into the connector on the back of the wire harness, and this just needs to be somewhere where it can have easy access to the sky. You can put this on your roof if you want to run it out to your roof. You can also put this on your dash all the way up at the front, so it looks straight out the windshield. This is the mic, so when you're talking to somebody on the phone, this will be your external mic. This is a USB plug, which is starting to get a little outdated. USB-C is starting to be a little bit more common, but most people still have this USB type, and then that just plugs right into the back of the head unit itself. Then here's the wire harness. Again, this looks super crazy, but what's nice about this is this allows you to do anything you want. Every single hookup you can possibly imagine is on this harness. You don't have to wire anything together, it's ready to go. The only thing that really takes a lot of time when doing head units is running the wiring, trying to hide everything. And we are also going to be doing this backup camera. And this, again, will be taking up the most amount of time, is installing this guy. I want to make sure that we go in the back of the car, and then you've got to run all this wiring all the way up front. We'll have the links to both of these items in the description below. If you use code TENZA10, you can get a discount on your next order of EONON parts and supplies. Let's get the head unit taken out of the car, and I'll show you how easy that is to get the head unit out, and then we'll get the new one put in, go over some of the features, and then get the backup camera installed. So this lower section just slides straight towards you after you get a bit of a grip on the edges. You'll remove this clip here, pushing down on the tab, rolling it up and over. From here, there is a 2.5mm Allen, one on each side. You just barely can't see it. There's 2 little tiny holes. You'll screw those out and then they'll actually stop themselves, so you're not in any risk of losing those 2 little Allens. You'll slide this out. So we'll disconnect all of these and just pull those ones straight towards you. This clip is very similar to the one that we did earlier, where it's got a bit of a lock on it. Slide up on it and then you're able to pull it away from the head unit. Once we're to this point, we're going to be removing the rest of the cage here. There's 2 screws on each side, then there's another pair down here, and then there's another pair up here. You'll access them by coming in the middle. We've already got the 2 outer ones done. The next thing we'll be doing is installing these brackets here. These help mount the head unit to this, essentially an empty hole. So we're gonna go over here to our original mounting points and we'll be reinstalling this. I'm just gonna be reusing the same screws that came out of the system to put this in. So those 2 brackets are now in. Over here to our backup camera. So this side right here is the side that goes to the head unit. So you're gonna have 1 wire and then 1 RCA. Come over here and you can actually see one that says video in. That'll go right here. And then there's another wire that says for backup camera. And it's actually just a wire that's capped. And I believe that is this one right here. You'll see 12 volt for backup camera. And then all we do is put those 2 together. The other thing we're gonna be doing before we get all this put together is making sure we run the USB port. So the USB will probably go over to the jockey box. Then the satellite antenna, I would like to run to the top of the dash. Supposedly you can leave it in here, preferably not. We're gonna see if we can run it up there. If we can't, then we'll leave it, up towards the top. There's not a ton of metal in here, so shouldn't have any issues getting transmission, but we'd like to have it up top. All right, so there is one thing that I've learned. This is a bit of a universal harness. So this side actually doesn't go anywhere. You'll plug that side into the car. And then this black one is what goes onto the back of our head unit. All of the white ones, I think there's like 7 white connectors on the back of the head unit. They're all keyed and different sizes. So there is no way that you can mix those up, and you'll just plug them into where they need to go. That's where the GPS sensor ended up going. This is where the external mic ended up going. And we just ran everything back behind the dash so that it's all nice and neat, spun these up. What's really nice about this is how thin it is. So there's plenty of room back behind here. Something we used to fight when the cars had CD players is when you go and push everything back in there, there's so many connectors and electrical wiring and stuff like that that you actually can't get it in there. You end up shoving it down the sides, and yeah, it's a pain. So this is really nice. It's super low profile. So again, things like this right here, the external mic, that'll be on the harness. If you have questions about anything, everything's labeled, which is super nice. A lot of companies don't do this. These guys do. We're gonna get this hooked up the rest of the way, and then we'll be trying out the backup camera.
Tenza.
Okay, the head unit is on. I have tested it to make sure that everything works. I just made sure that everything that is on the wire harness is plugged into the head unit that we're gonna be using. USBs are over there. This is the backup camera. Like I said, the thing that takes the longest amount of time is running wires and stuff like that. So we haven't decided if we wanna run it through the center console or run it around the outside doors. But what we're gonna be doing is I'll put the key in, and you can see this boot up. And sorry if you can't see, it's really bright, which is nice because during the day, a lot of these older screens wash out. So one of the things that I like about this system, we'll talk about this car specifically with this system. One thing I like about it is that it very much fits the car. The older E46s and E39s used to have a nav system that looks similar to this, and so it it looks very classy with, at the same time, looking modern without looking too modern. And I really think it complements the way that the dash looks. So you got the dash, and then, you know, with all the buttons on the side, everything still looks really nice. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, as always. Let's see here real quick. I do have this actually hooked up though. Let's see the backup camera. Oh, well, apparently I have it upside down, but there's the race car. So obviously I'd need to go back there and flip the camera back right side up. Back to the main menu. Apparently the tuner's not on an actual channel. Let's see if we can get one. Oh, cool slider bar. One thing that I have noticed is right off the bat, this does actually feel really, really good and sensitive. It will actually tell you what doors are open and not. Let me see here. So you can see I've got the hood open, the door, and the back hatch, which is way cool that it shows you all that information. And then let's see what else. We can go here to, geez, I don't even know what some of these buttons do. Okay, there we go. Front camera, so you can actually add a front camera, which is way cool. I wonder if you can access your back camera like this. Yeah, you can see how smooth that is. There's Netflix, which would be freaking awesome while you're driving around. Oh, here's the other thing. This is awesome. So this is one of the main reasons, besides, you know, besides making your head unit more modern, is that you actually have an OBD2 scan tool. Yeah, this is equivalent. So this reminds me of, and I'm not trying to promote anything else in this video, but it kind of reminds you of the Blue drivers. You can do data logging and things like that. But anyways, that's really cool. And then you just press the back button here. Are you sure you want to exit? Press OK. Wallpaper, YouTube. Yeah, it is way cool. I do not have a device to hook up right now to show some of this stuff off, but I mean, it's pretty standard stuff. There's your Play Store, so you'd have to hook up to your phone to get that to run. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so you can see that this is scrolls really quickly. I don't want to play too much. I guess I shouldn't be playing any music that's got any copyright to it. Just kind of wanted to show that everything works, show the backup camera works. As soon as I put this into reverse, boom, goes backup camera. So the way that you wire the backup camera is that you'll find a constant ground, and then you just run, there's a power and a ground back there. You'll run the power to your rear backup bulb, and then the ground goes to ground, and that's it. So again, we just got to run this wire, which is a pain in the butt. All right, couldn't be happier with the head unit. Look at it all installed. It looks so good. I feel really dumb because this did come with an instruction manual, and for some reason, when I had initially got all this unboxed, I put this somewhere and I could not seem to find that or this. It's funny because this actually shows the satellite antenna exactly where we put it on the car. So over here up on the, like literally like exactly where we put it, which I thought was kind of interesting. I was not planning that, but there's your user manual. And then this one right here goes over the wire harness, which I talked about a little bit earlier, that I couldn't seem to figure out why this interrupter had another connector on it. And this explains why. It goes through everything you need to know. These guys they're easily the best when it comes to this kind of stuff. There are other companies that do head units. We just recently did one on my wife's F30, and we're really happy with that one. But EONON, they want you to plug and play. They don't want you to be confused. This is a at-home install. This is not something you have to take to an installer that does head units. I've spent days installing stereo systems before, and I had this in with recording this video in like 90 minutes. And I've always said that if a project takes an hour and I'm recording, always double it, or maybe even double and a half. So, you know, if it's an hour project, you can take 2.5 hours recording. I just love this. I really apologize that I wasn't able to get all this hooked up. I do not have a device with me that I can get hooked up to the Bluetooth and stuff like that. But we were able to see how fast it is, how easy it is to hook up. We heard the stereo system. Later on, if there's enough attention and if everybody wants to see, we can do a follow-up video in 6 months or a year or whatever, and just see how well this is holding up. And once again, Tenza 10 will give you a discount on your EONON order. Thanks so much for watching. Comments, questions down in the comments section below. We'll see everybody in the next video.
Bam!